Unique wall molding can really elevate a space, giving it a custom high-end feel, and it doesn't need to be complicated or expensive. Here's one way to get the look. I did this project in the Family Fun Room episode of The Weekender Season 7. I wanted to transform this unused formal living room into a great new space for the family. It already had some elements going for it. I called them Builder Grade Plus. Some crown molding, a chair rail, nice hardwood floors. It was a perfect space to bring in even more character on the walls. This is the molding that we're gonna use, and it's pre-primed for us. So all we're gonna have to do is cut the lengths that we need. So it's super easy to work with, great for a beginner DIYer. We're gonna make this fun and different. What I like to do when I'm doing like a decorative molding project is to tape out my pattern or whatever I'm doing with painter's tape, because right now it's a little abstract. What I'm thinking are really big rectangles, basically like a 4 foot by 3 foot. We'll repeat this like probably 4 or 5 times on this wall. Okay, that will be our first box. Now, within that, we're gonna do another box.
Actually, it's super helpful to see.
It is, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then in the center, we'll just put a piece like that. Now that we have an idea of the shape, we need to get our exact measurements. So I'm gonna take that down there. Let's measure, we'll measure right about at the chair rail. What do we got?
230.
So 230. I was thinking about 3 foot widths here. So that's 36. So we can fit about 5 on this wall with like 8 inches in between.
Perfect. And then what about this area? Are we leaving this open?
I was thinking down here that we will just do vertical slats just to give it a little bit more visual interest. I just didn't want the top to feel too top heavy and the bottom to feel like an afterthought. Now that we kind of have our clear vision, let's head out to the saw. We'll make all of our cuts for this entire wall and then we can do all the installation.
Perfect.
Okay? This is a miter saw, also sometimes called a chop saw. And even though we're doing really simple straight cuts, we could get fancy and cut things at an angle if we wanted to miter. But for our purposes, we're just gonna stick with the basics and do some nice straight cuts for most of our wood. To do this, we're gonna do a couple measurements. We need some 36-inch pieces, so we'll cut those first. We had varying length cuts that we'd piece together to create each rectangle. These measurements are not standard. They'll always be different depending on your particular space and molding design. Once we got all of our cuts done, it was time to install. I think a good first step is to kind of lay out one of our boxes here on the ground, so that way we can just easily pull the pieces. And since we did straight cuts with these instead of mitering them, it's gonna make the install so much easier. We're gonna start 8 inches off the wall. We need to go 6 1/4 to center it. This is totally a matter of preference. Like, it's our pattern, so we could make it higher to the top. We could make it lower to the bottom. I think for our purposes, centering it makes a lot of sense. We want this to be nice and level. We're gonna start with our outer rectangle. Since not every piece of molding will be going into studs, we're doing a combination of contractor adhesive and nails to attach to the wall. Okay, first piece up. It's smart to just double check and make sure we are level. We are. Now we can continue along the bottom. Now, for these bottom ones, we're gonna do them 12 inches apart. We cut the top of our wood at an angle so that it kind of tucks nicely underneath the existing molding. That's a great idea, and it's a way to kind of make it look intentional. If I were to keep this straight, it looks accidental. Inherently, when you are attaching molding onto the wall, you're gonna have a little bit of gapping, but a little bead of caulk along that will take care of it, and where any of the wood pieces meet. And for all the nail holes, a little wood putty will do the trick. Really simple, homeowner friendly, and major impact. Once we installed the molding, we painted everything a deep, rich blue color. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Not only the molding, but the walls and the ceiling as well. It's a technique called color drenching, and it adds so much drama and sophistication to the space. This project completely transformed the look and feel of this room, and hopefully it inspires you to think about how you could incorporate custom molding into your own home. If you have any questions, drop them below, and also make sure you're subscribed to the Lowe's YouTube channel.